Good morning, everyone, and a Shavua Tov. It's a beautiful day in New York, but freezing, so I'm going to be brave and do this video without a coat on. On Shabbos, I was privileged to daven in a shul that I've never davened in before, called the Riverdale Jewish Center. It was a wonderful Shabbat, but one of the more wonderful things I saw was that in the main minyan, there were no Mishaberachs. Namely, they went through the Torah reading, 7 aliyahs plus maftir is 8, and there was no mishaberachs. And I think, personally, that this is something that should be contemplated very, very seriously in many shuls for 3 reasons. Number 1, mishaberachs do take time. They're wonderful to give a mishaberach to a person that gets an aliyah, but they do take a lot of time. And of course, time is of the essence in shul because people get bored very, very easily. Number 2, there is a serious question if you can say a mishaberach. In the mishaberach we say, Bishar zeh, in merit of you going and getting an aliyah, all these great things should happen. In Judaism, we're against that. The Gemara says explicitly that only with the mitzvah of tzedakah you could say, B'schut the tzedakah, this and this should happen, like we do in Yisker. Bishar, the tzedakah, I give, the memory of my loved one should be intertwined with that of the living. But not so with other mitzvot. Just because I put on tefillin, I can't say, Bishar zeh, God should give me a good day. And therefore, it's very problematic the way we say the mishaberach. And number 3, even if you find a reason for the first and the second that can justify it, namely the time element is not so bad, and bishar zeh we can find justifications for, saying bakashos on Shabbos, saying requests on Shabbos is very problematic. After all, our sages took out the 13 blessings of requests from the Shmoneh Esrei, replaced it with one that doesn't have any physical requests, and to say requests on Shabbos and induce it is very problematic. So for these 3 reasons, time, bishar zeh, which is very problematic, and of course bakashot on Shabbos, I would definitely advise that this should be contemplated. This doesn't mean that every shul doing it is wrong, but throughout the generations, from Rav Yaakov Emden's very, very vociferous tshuva on it, as well as others, this has been an issue. And therefore I suggest very, very strongly that this should be considered. Namely, considered that perhaps mishaberach should either be totally abolished, or a abridged mishaberach should be maybe the one that we use without the bishar zeh, or maybe one mishaberach for all the olim after the 7 or 8 aliyahs. From this perspective, I really have to commend what I saw. Not only was davening a bit shorter, the laning actually became one flow from the beginning of Vayetze to the word machanayim. I saw a flow. I actually got various speeches out of it, and I think that it definitely should be contemplated. So happy to share that this morning, and wishing everyone a good day and week.